I assume out of space. His hair is back. He's
I've been traveling the country in an RV.
wow. I know that is a dream of yours. So I hope you either made your financial freedom, or if you got kicked out, you find somewhere to stay quick.
No, that's what's great about this job. You know, being in the market, you can do it anywhere as long as you got an internet connection.
You know what I should have said if your roommate kicked you out? That's what I meant. Oh my gosh, that's what we're saying.
See, I left her behind.
Oh well, hey, that's her fault, man. You know, I said 5-minute pit stop, 5-minute rest stop. We're in and out. We gotta hit the road. We gotta make
me and a couple girlfriends of mine. Got to get these pineapples to Hawaii.
Yeah, there you go.
Driving straight through.
Dig that. Well, good morning again, everybody. For those that are new to the show, this is the Get Better Together show. I'm Mike. I'm a former financial advisor. I've been in financial services for a long time. I'm becoming a much better trader through the Benzinga ecosystem when we've started a show to get everybody on the same board at the same time, the same page, to get better at trading together. So you come here, be yourself, have fun, ask questions, throw some questions in the chat, throw some tickers in the chat so we can all talk about the different things we see and how we can put them together to all become better traders. My friend, my co-host, Avan, so happy you're back, my friend. He's an OG trader.
I'm glad to be back.
Well, good. Been trading forever. He knows his stuff. We have two different styles, and he's going to help us kind of some experience in the short-term stuff. So I know the long-term. He knows the short-term. Coming together. We're going to put everybody together so we learn better together. And I'm so happy you're all here. Trust me, you make my day. We already had some great chat questions. We have a slew of stocks to get through today. Awesome. Oh, I was just about to ask Joseph, how is the Wi-Fi in the Marriott? I'd be interested about that. And we got a lot to get to. We're very excited. Though, before we go, Eddie, smash the like on Twitch, Twitter, and YouTube, and throw a question in the chat. I can't see the YouTube chat, but we'll join Benzinga Pro 2-week trial. Sign up. Join us here on the happy hour. On this side of the screen, you get your own personal chat. All the traders are over here. We're going to get started right away. This is good. So we have some out-of-town visitors to Benzinga, which is absolutely fantastic. And I'm glad. Yes, you guys are so cool. Avan, I got to ask, though, where the hell have you been?
I told you, man, I've been in an RV traveling the country.
Oh, that's right.
Oh, okay. Shit. Yeah, let me turn this off. Hold on.
So we are going to stick with that story, huh?
Yeah, well, the real story of me being in jail is really good for programming. It was
one or the other. Oh, that's good.
Well, it keeps me off the streets.
That's true. That is true. Oh my God! Glad the Wi-Fi is working out, and the Marriott. That's so good, as that was a hotel Wi-Fi unreliable. Again, we have some guests coming in and out of town, so that's so good.
So what's Joseph on the road then? Is that the case?
That is right, man.
I'm in Detroit.
Running from the cops too.
Don't find me here.
Yeah, exactly. Came to the right spot. He's hiding out up here in beautiful Motor City.
It was it's a beautiful looking city. Had a good time last night. Gonna have a good time today. Looking forward to how today plans out.
Could be good. You guys are gonna have a lot of fun. Big city, lot to do. Enjoy it, and let's jump right into the good stuff. Now, Apple. Some news came out overnight. I find a little bit interesting. Avan, would you mind sharing that news with everyone?
Yeah, it's the Apple employees complaining about having to come into work, so they're saying they're probably going to quit. I don't have any numbers on exactly how many whiners are complaining about actually having to go into work.
Why is that it, man?
Well, their new remote policy says that they have to just attend the office 3 days a week. Oh my God, 3 days a week is all you have to do to go into work. I mean, Jesus Christ, give me a break. So apparently that's too much to ask, and they will be quitting.
That is insane to me. Why would you complain to quit work? You did not have this problem 2 years ago. Miraculously, you survived the pandemic, and now you're complaining that life is not good enough for you. I must quit so I can continue to work at home, a luxury that was not afforded 2 years ago, plus 600,000 people, more people being on this planet. I don't get it. I just think that's such a lame excuse. I think it's a bad look for Silicon Valley. Have a bunch of highly compensated tech employees that understand technology, can work from home, complaining that they have to go to an office like everybody else. It's just,
I mean, I get San Francisco traffic sucks, but come on, you're going to work in a spaceship, for God's sake.
great point.
That campus looks like,
Great point.
something that should take off from Earth.
They'll be back.
You think so? You don't think they're quitting?
Look,
Where else are they going to go?
I don't know what their long-term plan is, but their long-term plan can include not employment. They're going to have a job, and are they going to get a better job than Apple? I don't think they are.
Right. Joseph, that's a great point, man. Yeah, man. You have a great job. Why are you complaining? Just like, this is the last thing, you should be complaining about. I can't work from home. Oh, so what? I'm sorry. Yeah,
these idiots may just be using it as a bargaining chip.
That's a valid point too. That kind of makes sense. And Jim, great point in the chat. The Jetsons employees, yeah, they're spoiled. Exactly. They have like everything at their fingertips. Just leave it alone, man. It's just it's bad luck. And maybe I just don't like
all the
Silicon
Jetsons
Valley.
employees want to be like Jane, where they take the whole wallet and not the dollar.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Well, if they're not going into work, how the hell are they going to get their free food and back rubs and get to slide down on slides and shit like they've got? I mean, that whole campus is completely self-sufficient. They've got their own gyms, they got their own stage, they got their own wilderness in the middle of the goddamn things. I don't know.
Even great point, man. When I was at JP Morgan, we had a 15% employee discount for stock purchase plans. And at Raymond James, I think it was at least another 15%. So Raymond James specifically, I acquired a huge amount of Raymond James stock for $55 a share, by the way, because that was a long time ago. Holy crap. It just like mind numbing. That's a huge benefit of the, why would you complain about that? If I got 10%.
Well, that's the thing. Apple doesn't
even
give a huge discount on their products to their employees. It's not like they get a cost. Apple's still making money off of selling its own swag to its employees.
I believe that. And Robert, I want to emphasize a point you made. I'm going to double down on that in the chat. Staying home is making younger people even less able to socialize with others. 100%. Could not agree with it. Getting food multiple times a day, having delivered, an easy and convenient way to kind of avoid society.
Well, don't most of these kids live in their parents' basements anyway, and not
the Apple ones
and socialize?
Could be. All right. Well, speaking of Apple, let's bring up our first stock pick. So this isn't a groundbreaking pick per se, but it's something I definitely want to bring up. I am a believer in the cybersecurity space for the remainder of the year. We'll see 2022 how things go, but my point is I obviously see this part of the economy, or particularly this sector of the market, to grow exponentially. Yes, we've seen a ton of headlines recently. We understand that a huge component of this space is going to be technology. So I want to be in the technology space. I think there's going to be an incredible amount of demand for the services one way or another. And lastly, I think these businesses essentially are solving a large enough problem to kind of catapult to the forefront of the Benzinga.coms almost every day, particularly at least once a week. I think it's going to be absolutely nuts. Now, I think someone out there may disagree with me, and I'm happy to hear another point of view, but I wanted to bring
Yeah,
it up.
I'll give you counterpoint when you're done. That's for damn sure.
Well, I'm looking forward to it. I just want to introduce. We'll jump to the counterpoint in a quick second. I'll introduce what is called the Hack ETF. ETFMG Prime Cybersecurity. Basically, it ties itself to a cyber defense index. So it's a little more boring. It's a little more plain Jane, but it's been on a tier. What I want to isolate for you all right now is we're at the bottom. This is a daily chart. We're looking our 50-day moving average is represented by this green line. It has not come close to our 200-day moving average. Of course, our 500 is just going to be accelerating as well. What I see right now is growth throughout the year last year, or excuse me, throughout this year. Everything has been doing just fine, kicking and taking, right? Just moving upward. Lately, we finally have a little bit of a break in the action. I think we've had some downward pressure. I'm not positive why where this pressure is coming from, but I see that I am at a basically more or less a month low, a couple weeks low. So I'm going to take advantage of this. I think I'm all the way back to June 16th, technically on my low, and I've bought myself about 6 weeks of time. So I like this. I'm going to take this. I think I'm going to take this one home. Now, there are other options. This purple line is representing this cyber NASDAQ ETF. It's a little more aggressive. The fees are a little bit higher, I think. Obviously, the return is there. I'd maybe rather have the slow and steady one, and this may be to Avan's point here in a minute. Again, though, I think this stock is going up to the right. I think I have a little break in the price right now, so I'm excited about that. And I see this as a growing space. How could I possibly go wrong? Avan,
Jesus.
tell me how I'm wrong.
Where do I start? So, I agree that cyber is a very important aspect of business today, and it's a necessary evil. But the fact of the matter is that there's way too many companies that are getting hacked. There's way too many companies that are supposed to keep you from getting hacked that are asleep at the wheel. Kaseya being one of them. Kaseya is the company that was part of this evil new hack where it affected 1,000, 1,500 vendors, but then their millions of customers that they supply networks, remote network security for. So, the Kaseya CEO said that it's, flat out that it's not a matter of if, but when any of these companies will get hacked. So, I mean, look at how many times Microsoft has been hacked. So, buying into these cyber companies, having them as your service is no guarantee that you're not going to get hacked. I mean, that still doesn't protect you from one of your employees opening up an attachment, personal email at work and infecting your whole network. So
tell me more about Kaseya. So what specifically do they do, Avan?
They provide remote network security and maintenance for small to medium-sized business.
Remote network access. So
network security. So
security. Okay, specifically.
Yeah.
Okay, so they're not like an Asana. They're not like a Slack. They're not like a Zoom where they're just communication. They are specifically a security company. They were hacked. That went downstream. That affected their clients negatively.
Exactly.
Okay, so the thought is, look, everybody is going to be susceptible to the hacking.
Exactly. So the thought is I'm pro your ETF. I am, but the reality is it's buyer beware, because at any given time, any of these companies can get hacked, and therefore their stock price get pushed down, whether it's temporarily or permanently. I mean, you look at the move for FireEye when their hack happened, how the stock dropped significantly. FireEye is part of this ETF, I believe.
Yes, they are. They are one of the larger holdings. I think they came in the top Six top largest holdings. The top four are up here, and FireEye is represented by this turquoise light bluish line here. Obviously taking quite a spill right here. Exactly why I'd rather have the ETF, because this is not the type of space that I'm going to understand and research the companies well enough. So I'd rather have the ETF do the hard work for me and just get exposure to the space. I see this as an easy way to park some money and have it grow safely and steadily over the next 6 months. Even I think you do bring up a good point that these companies themselves, I'm setting myself for a little bit of risk that, hey, you're going to be in a growing space, Mike, but you're also going to have a little bit more risk and reward. If any one of these companies gets some bad headlines, they're going to get smoked, right?
I mean, the good news being that it's a necessary evil. These companies are absolutely necessary to have working for you.
Now what do I do? That's a good point.
The thing is that these companies, you only hear about when something goes wrong. You never hear any headlines about when they prevent an attack or thwart an attack, or
good point.
At least limit the exposure of an attack. You never hear about that stuff, because why would you? It's just business as usual for them. But when they fail at their job, then that's when shit hits the fan. I get Avan's point, and it's a good one, because they're gonna get crushed whenever bad news comes out. But through further examination, you might be able to find what actually held up prior to that, or during that, or the situation with whatever's in the news. There's probably more to the story, but that doesn't stop the stock from falling. I mean, the whole market was falling in the past few days, so I don't know if there's any really.
True that, but you look at the June 21st drop of FireEye from 2269 down to 1797. What the hell that was, I have no idea. But yeah, you're absolutely correct on the market being shitty all this week.
Yeah.
So you can't really hold the ETF completely responsible for their performance this week. I mean, some of the best companies in the world are having horrible
tough week. Okay. Well, my only point here, my last point I want to make, if you are interested in this position, if you like my point of view, or if you like Avan's, that's a good point too. But if you're interested in the position, I would recommend getting in sooner than later, because we are seeing growth up to the right. It's going to be harder to get a good price. I think this is the type of thing that you're going to want to keep accumulating. You're going to want to add as many shares as you can when you take advantage of the price action. So get the 60. It's good. Most likely going to be a nice 10% or so up to the upside in the near term. I mean, its high would be another 8. Even if it just gets back to normal levels, you're still, again, you're looking at an 8%. I'll take that, guys. Like that's an easy play to move some money. So jump in now.
And don't misconstrue me.
I agree.
I believe the space is going to do nothing but increase. I believe that it's over time. It's going to cost companies more and more to keep using their service, therefore increasing a larger profit margin. The stock has nothing but to go up. But buyer beware that at any given time, these things can take a dive significantly.
On one fucking bad headline.
You said
on
June 21st for FireEye. That was when
I think
Sentinel-1. That was when Sentinel-1 IPO'd. CrowdStrike also fell that day.
Did they also?
Which is in there.
Sentinel-1 IPO'd. So if they're in the ETF, then it would have balanced out a little bit.
Ooh, good point.
Well, I don't see Sentinel-1. I don't see Sentinel-1 in the hack ETF.
Oh no,
I see Fire. But why? I've never understood that. Why on earth should, just because a new company's IPOing, for your company to drop, roughly 20% on a day, to me doesn't make any sense. I mean, I get all of reallocating of assets, and you want to get out of something to buy something else, but 20% move is significant on one given day for just an IPO to be.
Even I will tell you, if you look at how stretched and extended this market is, it would make sense for a lot of people to get out of whatever cybersecurity stock they're already in, considering that it has run. And I think it's a little silly to get into an IPO as early as, you know, some people did with Sentinel-1 and Roblox and whatever other IPO, Didi,
Yeah.
that has been happening. But it makes a little sense to me that people would be leaving these stocks that have run for a while to get into something new where the price hasn't really been established.
Right, and I agree with you. But but then you look at the chart and where it completely gapped down and then bounced right back up and has been trading sideways since then. It looks like, at least FireEye is. I mean, I haven't done my research on all of the holdings of ETF, but you know, then again, none of the market makes sense to me at this point anymore. So you know, whatever, you can toss a fucking dart at it and get the answer that you're looking for.
Guys, how right is Avan on that point, man? Throw him a 1 in the chat if you agree. No, the littlest bit of common sense has been going. Where'd your hair come from, by the way? The littlest bit of common sense is just being thrown out the window. What worked yesterday doesn't work today, which is something I don't think we really have seen in the market of how quickly it's evolving, how things are changing so quickly. Very interesting time. Good point, man. Good
and
point.
I'm a big fan of technical analysis and due diligence and the math of things, but sometimes none of it fits the narrative, and none of it makes any sense. So you know, sometimes you're just better off trading the news instead of trading the math.
Maybe that's it. Well, Benzinga definitely would recommend trading with the news, as we do see that as the true catalyst for a vast majority of this market. So come to Benzinga Pro, sign up for your 2-week trial so you can join us. Before we go on to the next stock, Mr. Harris, great point, man. And in our side in the chat, in the Benzinga Pro chat, Mr. Harris is saying the Equal 8 S&P ETF RSP has been flat while SPY has been going up. It's messy, and he's waiting to see what the next 6 to 8 weeks look like and maybe get some better cost basis. Long story short, I think he's saying, hey, I think I'm overpaying for all this shit, so why am I doing that? I couldn't agree more, man. And if you already have your position, I don't see a ton of need to keep adding cash to your positions right now and to your market. The only one I would possibly add would be the ones I bring up to you today. But let's move on. That's a good point, Gary. So,
well, if you look at SPY and if you look at the QQQ, those things behaved exactly carbon copies yesterday. I mean, they all did the bounce at 2 o'clock. They all were down from the open, so it's almost as if they're brothers from another mother.
Interesting.
And if you even look at the Apple and Tesla and QQQ charts, they look excitingly similar as well.
Yeah, because Apple and Nvidia and Microsoft are all making up the fucking Qs.
Yeah, that and Heinz ketchup.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we don't want to get sidetracked with it. We'll bring on the next talk. We can come back to that in a little bit. I do want to bring up another biotech company very quickly. You want to keep things on pace for us. We have a lot of stocks to get to. So this is a cool stock, CYT Therapeutics. I hate fancy names. Just tell me what you do. I just make it easy English. That's it. Okay. Long story short, folks, they're a biotech company, clinical stage biotech company on developing commercialization of the next generation of oncology medicines. I love that because of I love what we call that is kind of stakeholder philosophy. Businesses really doing things, corporations really trying to make the world a better place. Oncology is an absolute fantastic place, in my opinion, to start a business. But long story short, don't look at the chat. It doesn't matter. Really, this is an IPO play. If the stock has only been about a month or two, but let's take a look at our Benzinga Pro. Let's go to calendar and let's look at these babies right here. We have count them, 4 analyst ratings from this week alone with some heavy hitters: Morgan Stanley, B of A, and JP Morgan. And I love B of A because I used to work for Merrill Lynch, and I absolutely adore B of A research because of how concise and conservative it is at the same time. But let's take a look at these price targets. Taking a quick average, I'm at 31.5 with the outlier of B of A all the way at 23, which is really the only one below 30. And the current price is at 19. So I can still get roughly a nice 10, 20% pop right there if the lowest of the price targets hits. But again, it was all for this week, which tells me with an IPO that there is something we don't know as the retail investor. Now,
I have a question though. On these analyst ratings, are they talking about these prices going up in this quarter or within a year or 10 years? They're never specific on exactly when they see these price targets happening. I mean,
great point.
By all means, somebody tell me what I'm missing.
Even great point, and it is within 12 months.
Yep.
That's
12 months.
So valid point, my man. When is it supposed to hit there? No, folks, it's not supposed to be overnight, and I don't think it's supposed to be next quarter. However, Avan, could you give me that maybe all four of those analysts that got to see a little bit more behind the scenes of the company may
they know something that we don't.
Perhaps
they know something that we don't.
So, and what do we think is going to essentially drive this type of stock? We were just mentioning it. Headline.
Well,
right?
you know that stage 3 are always the catalyst.
It's going to be right. It's going to be some sort of headline, something that's like, guys, we just need to, let the ink dry, but we're pretty sure we're going to get some sort of approval or another piece of good news. And we can just kind of quietly nudge that to the analysts. Why would they not want to?
I mean, all you have to do is be on Benzinga Pro at 4 a.m. and look at the scanner and see how many biotech stocks are blowing to the roof every single morning. And,
on headlines.
On headlines, just on headlines.
That's a great point. So we have some insider buys from the company itself. The IPO literally came out June 18th. It was well above. It came hot out of the gate. Oh, no, just a little bit before, so that's fine. I just like what they see. Again, the thesis says it's an IPO. It has the space it's in, drug-wise, oncology, very, very tremendous upside. Those 4 analyst ratings all at the same time, blowing the price out the water, albeit they have 12 months to reach their target, kind of implies that the probability of a catalyst via headline is strong.
There's your information right there on that update where it says Morgan Stanley on CTR Therapeutics.
That's right, dog.
The phase 1/2 data has been encouraging in the heavily penetrated population, and the response is observed in the multiple tumor types while maintaining a favorable safety profile. That's enough for a lot of big banks, big companies like this to give some favorable price targets.
Because is there some, obviously, is it just, Joseph, is it as simple of just those words?
These companies, I think they've done the due diligence on what they've got going on in their pipeline. And and so I think that's what they're basing their price targets on. They like what the results have happened already, and it looks like it could be one of those competitors in the oncology space, similar to how Sava and Apria and all these other oncology stocks have done really well lately. They're looking at this one and saying this could be another one that's going to do well.
These guys know what's being done in the lab before it gets released publicly.
Great point. I love it. So hopefully you got to hear it first, folks. I didn't want that to slip out of your attention. I think that is pretty cool. Again, IPO just came out. I don't care about the price. Long term looks good. Right place, right time. Meaning the space that it's in with the potential for the catalyst, I think bodes very well. Any other final thoughts?
Again, I'm pro biotech. Biotech is the future. Everybody should be in it, but buyer beware because it is saturated right now. There's 100,000 biotech stocks out there right now, so just be careful.
As someone said in happy hour, I like biotech because I like drugs.
Yeah.
That's going to be on a shirt.
That should be on a shirt. Benzinga's
I don't like the drugs, but the drugs like me.
Well, that's I believe that too. Great point all the way around, Avan. Appreciate that little that perspective of reality. Be careful before you just jump into a biotech stock. High risk, high reward. I like the 4 nudges again from the analysts here. If I were to
Hey,
pick
can we
one, I
mention
like
something real quick? This
Yeah,
is
what's
just
up?
off quick news. You know, the news came out this morning that Moderna is going to hit the S&P 500. So Moderna's up 8.21% this morning. Just as a side note on biotech, I don't want to go into this heavily. I just thought it's something worth mentioning.
Great
Sorry,
point.
I interrupted you.
That's kind of a big deal. That's a great point.
It is a big deal.
That is a big deal. Okay.
That's because more shares are getting purchased for sure.
For sure. For sure. Very sure. So,
For sure.
another pick for everybody. I will have to hopefully jump back to them, but during info, we'll take a look at the stock price in the pre-market before we head out for the day. So, I have one more pick per se in a space that I absolutely adore. If you've been following the show for a while, let's take a look at a financial stock. So, Associated Capital Group, what the hell do they do? What are they? They're in capital markets. They're in the financial sector. I love the financial sector because the whole purpose of the financial sector is built on money. They're just designed to make money. What the heck do these guys do? Diversified global financial services company, operates in the business of alternative investments, a big deal for financial advisors, alternative investments, institutional resources, and cash management. I love it. Now, long story short, name's been around for the while. Why do I like it? Number one, I absolutely like the chart. I would need a little bit of help from the group here, but I'm in a daily. My green line is my 50-day moving average, and my yellow line is my 200-day moving average. And I've just had a cross in a space that I like, financials, and I think they're going to be strong for the rest of the year. Should I be a buyer at $40 a share, 39.08? Good question. I just have the golden cross. What would you guys do? What do you guys see?
The float's kind of small, 1.69 million.
That was the next thing. They have less than 2 million shares in float. I like that.
Well, definitely, I'll definitely see some volatile price movements if it gets noticed.
That's what I'm thinking.
Now, I will say this though. I went to their website this morning. It was not very. It didn't really tell me a whole lot what they do. So maybe you can enlighten me.
Essentially, they're kind of like an OG fintech company.
Are they a hedge fund?
No, definitely not a hedge fund. How do I put this? I would say that they're, if I were to narrow them down to really anything, I would say they're closest to a consulting group, consulting firm that manages its own money. That doesn't need to just leverage experience. They have their own products. There are other things they can do. But I think essentially, hey, we want to help you get the capital you need.
They do straight up reporting.
Yeah.
The activities of its subsidiaries comprise publishing of daily research notes and full reports using private market value with a catalyst methodology. They straight up do reporting, in addition to other financial services.
Right.
Well, they do alternative investments. It says as well.
Yep.
Which are products. Those are unique products. That's where there's, I don't want to get too much into alternative investments, and it's not like an annuity, but it
look at their last earnings. They were up 83 cents EPS, up from negative $3.27 year over year. That's huge.
It is huge, and I'll take that all day.
And they report in 14 days, so it's really it's going to probably be really interesting to see what that report's going to be.
I think it's going to be awesome. Now, and I'm not going to worry about last year's results because they absolutely got crushed. They're going to bounce back. I got no beef with that. I want to bring up the cash flow. They got smoked previously, but I think they're going to bounce back just fine. Yeah, cash flow, they got absolutely annihilated. That's okay. Yeah, man. Long story short, I like the space. I like the golden cross we're just seeing into. I think it's going to have time to take off. I think the last time it did that hasn't been that way quite for some time. Hopefully we get a nice pop like this. If it which certainly can happen. As you can see, it just mirrored each other here, and then we got a couple good days. We'll see what happened on June 3rd.
Was that $65 January 12th, 2020? Is that correct? Is that what I'm looking at?
Probably. Yeah, it sure as hell was. It sure as hell was. What do you guys think, right? That's it. That's like not, dude, that's pretty good, man. We got a good, solid, safe space financials, which, by the way, are one of the few sectors not getting hounded this week. Tell me if I'm wrong. Right? Money breeds money.
BlackRock.
Can't emphasize that enough.
You got banks reporting this week, so I don't imagine that financials will get as crushed as hard as the rest of the market.
Great point. Regardless, it's always somewhat defensive. They're not leveraged. They're not leveraged like a bank. I don't have to worry about them making bad loans. The demand for money is absolutely incredible right now. I think the services they provide are going to be the solutions their business solves. I think are absolutely in high demand. I like where the chart is. Otherwise, Joseph, if you have any other indicators catching your eye, let me know.
But they do have a dividend.
A small dividend. It's I think half a
here's the
1%.
thing. I'm looking at this chart. It's very much just like, sideways. But if they have a dividend, then it makes it worth the sideways purchase, because the price isn't going to change all that much if it follows the same price action that it's had for however many years.
Yeah, good point.
But you are going to be getting paid more from this because they have a dividend. That's one of the things I look for in dividends. Like Verizon is a good example. They fluctuate between like $55 and $65, but they pay a 4-point-something% dividend. That makes it worth the holding for me.
So here's a good thing for discussion amongst the group. Do you reinvest your dividend back into stock purchase, or do you take your money and run?
For something like this, I would reinvest.
Always reinvest. Without a doubt, 100%, always reinvest. Live off of your dividend income in retirement, but use your dividend income while you're working. Big difference.
Yeah, because when you take your initial investment and you have your dividend being reinvested, you're not adding necessarily more of your money. You're just adding more of the money.
Their money.
Yeah.
So
screw it.
So you should never look past your initial reinvestment as what's the cost basis. It should just be the initial investment. And if you're getting annualized returns, then you're winning.
Right.
Yeah. That's a great point.
Yeah. I agree with both of you. I just was asking what everyone else does.
Great question. What do you guys think out in the chat? Throw one in the chat and I mean to the Benzinga Pro members. We got quite a few in here. Throw one in the chat if you reinvest your dividends, or two if you don't, and tell us what you're spending your money on.
And everybody get involved. This is what this whole thing is for you guys to have a platform to complain, bitch, tell us good news, fight it out, turn it into Thunderdome. Everybody needs to get involved. This is what we're here for.
I like that.
Tell me I'm a piece of shit.
I was never asked or paid to talk about any of this. I just love talking about this stuff. That's why I'm so vocal about it. Other people get vocal with me, man.
Joseph, right on, brother. That's so true. And guys, honestly, how many friends do we all have that we could go to and talk about stocks with at the same time, right? I don't know about you, Joseph, but I don't have a lot of friends I can literally analyze charts with, man. It's like, one, they have no idea what I'm talking about. Two, they could care less.
I have a girlfriend that doesn't even know how to spell stock.
She sounds fun.
Yeah, but the quieter she is, the better it is.
Oh my God. Oh, Robert, what's catching your eye? Robert Goodwin in the chat looks at charts for AC, accredited capital group. Looks like it has some great day trading opportunities. That's kind of what I'm thinking too, man. I really do believe in a short-term pop on this bad boy. I'm not going to lie. I haven't finalized a price target, but just with that golden cross in the sector it's going to be in, I could see a headline coming its way, whether it's a great earnings result, some other business line coming in. And again, I love the 50 cross of the 200. I wouldn't be surprised to grab a quick pop if I got 10 to 15% of my money, I would be completely fine in a simple and easy swing trade, since I haven't quite graduated to the day trading levels yet. You know what?
No, it does make some good moves up and down during the day. So yeah, you could friggin' do a couple spins a day on this stock and make yourself, more money to buy hair.
If I'm in this stock and I want to see it go up, I want to see it hold the 50-day moving average.
Hold it. What do you mean hold it? On what time frame?
Daily. So if you go to the daily and you look at the 20, my regulars, the 20, 50, and 200, you'll see that the 200 is kind of supporting it right. I'm sorry, the 20 is kind of supporting it right now, but previously the 50 was the line in the sand, and if it's coming, it looks like it's kind of headed back down towards the 50 a little bit, and if it is, I want to see the 50 hold the line.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, because it did already bounce hard once off the 50.
Boom, right here.
Yeah. I want to see if it retests that. I'd want to see it come back up and just keep going.
Okay, well, let's get some, see if we could get some. We do, so these little, you can't quite see them so well yet, but there are some blue dots here, and I'm just using Benzinga Pro to make this easy for me. This is SAR, parabolic stop and reversal. All this measures is truly your trend of the stock. It's just indicating, hey, what side is the price moving towards? So I have a ton of downward pressure on the stock right now because the blue dots are above the stock. It's pushing itself downward, meaning I think Joseph is probably right of this 50-day being an important indicator. It's pushing itself down. If it does hit that, it's going to most likely want to bounce back up, as you can kind of see it right here doing somewhat of the same thing. So good point, man. Thanks for jumping in there. We have some downward pressure. Let's make sure it does stay or hit that 50. Keep moving upward. Good point. Cool. That's a great, easy indicator.
You got support at 36.
What's up, man?
And if not, you got support at 36 with the 200.
Yeah, that's so true. You're not going anywhere. You're not going anywhere below that. So
yeah, it looks pretty good for the upward, but it needs to show that bounce, in my opinion.
Exactly. And hopefully, maybe it does keep hitting a little more pressure on there. Now, this next stock we want to hopefully have some time left over for Q&A or any other tickers. This one is just interesting to me. Valor Water Resources. I am a humongous proponent of water as a global, I don't want to say crisis issue. I hate those terms, but water is something that's going to be very, very, very important to the entire world every single day. More important every single day. Tell me I'm wrong if you live in the West.
Don't hedge the terminology. We are in a water crisis.
Dude,
especially the West Coast.
The West Coast, India, the parts of China. There's obviously the Middle East got its own thing, but water's a big deal.
Water will end up being the most valuable commodity at some point in our near future.
Everybody should move to Michigan right now. You guys just pop up and come to Michigan. We have a lot of water. We'll start a pizza business in Detroit. All of us.
Yeah, but how clean is that water there, bud?
It's the Great Lakes. All the water's clean. All of the water's. Don't run the water through lead pipe. Just drink it straight from the lake. You're totally fine. Boil it, or we make a lot of beer here.
Don't do none of that.
So that explains some of your behavior, Mike. You've been drinking out of lead pipes.
A little bit, yeah. I'm probably okay. Yeah, Joseph Volko, don't drink the water. You're gonna be. Everything else is fine. Okay, there's a difference between the Great Lakes and Flint, Michigan.
I'm just being a jackass, guys.
I like it. That's fine. Okay.
You and me both, man.
I think water is very important. Oh, and by the way, I had Benzinga do an interview with the head of research for the CME group, and I'm sorry if I have that title wrong, specifically about the CME group, Chicago Mercantile Exchange, starting their own waters futures contracts product. That's kind of a big deal.
Wow.
But it's officially financed, the whole entire finance industry, putting the value of water into a single product. Great product. Check it out. If you guys are interested in the space. So
look, the whole thing with Lake Mead has really got me paying attention to what's going on with water. You don't you know about Lake Mead. It's basically the water source for powering the Hoover Dam.
Yeah.
It's the water supply source for Las Vegas, parts of California, parts of Arizona, and it is at a historic low.
Yeah, they make a water
And
supply for basically all of Southern California as well.
sure. Well,
if you think about it,
there's other supplies that they get it from. There's a whole delta in Northern California that funnels down into Southern California. There's a whole aqueduct that funnels water down. But you're right. There is other lakes that are more local that are supplying water for Southern California. The problem is they're all low. They're all in really bad shape, and it's one of the reasons I don't live out there anymore is because there's a lot of tension with these water ordinances that have been put out, and they're only going to get worse.
And the wildfires every year.
And the wildfires
doesn't help.
Yeah. So then you also have fresh water getting diverted to the wildfires. It's a no-win situation with water out there right now.
Dude, that's a good point. That is. Really, there's no win-win. There's no outside.
No, I agree.
Yeah, good. That was a good. There was a good point. Somebody just put on chat that desalinization plants would help. I mean, they have an unlimited supply of salt water. Why are they not building desalinization plants? I get it, desalinization is expensive, but why are they not putting 5 or 6 of them up and down the coast?
Seriously, you guys tell me. Why is that not happening?
It's all about price. It's all, it comes down to price regulation. There's a lot of red tape to get through. Because I don't know the specifics of it, but I do understand the politics of, there you go. The politics of, bringing some of these new desalinization plants online, and in a state like California, which is heavily regulated with everything, it's going to take a while.
Well, businessmen, these guys may not be in any hurry to do something like desalinization because they can run the supply and demand gamut and charge water, 500% profit margin because of it's low, so who knows?
Wow, dude, that is crazy. Okay, well, let's check out the stock. So good.
Just play devil's advocate.
No, I like it. Okay. Robert, that's a great question. I like where you're going. Let's jump into Robert's question right after the stock itself.
So, a guy named Mark Aguilar on the YouTube chat said, push Cali out into the ocean and make it an island.
Just probably they'll have all the water they need. Problem solved. Okay, so Avan and I were debating or trying to talk through what exactly we think this company does. They're a private sector water resource company focused on the development of water supplies where it's lacking, but it provides water development solutions, yada, yada, yada. What am I looking for? Essentially identifying, acquiring, and developing water rights. Identifying, acquiring, and developing water rights for areas that need water that don't have it. So to me, that means I think they're more just doing the legal paperwork and helping people buy the land, which in my mind is going to be only more expensive, meaning that contract and that intellectual experience is only going to be more valuable. Or do they just buy land?
It sounds like to me they have a bunch of people going out into the wilderness, finding lakes and water supplies, buying the land with the lake and the water rights, and then selling it to developers that are building subdivisions at a profit margin. That's what it sounds like to me, but I could be wrong. It's been known to happen. I
don't know. That's what it says. Yeah. Do they buying the land, or are they just supplying a service? That's where we can't quite know. We'll have to do a little more research. Regardless, whatever the hell they do,
you know what? You guys confirmed everything I already suspected. They have very low liabilities. They do not have a big amount of overhead, because it's exactly what you're saying that they're doing. They basically just handle the paperwork. They just be like, oh look, we can make money off this by doing A, B, and C through court.
I love it.
They don't own anything.
They don't have to.
They just fucking
Yeah, they're
they
mid-level
just
drug
do
dealers.
their jobs.
They pretty much, that's it, man. That's right. They're the middle
They're
guy.
the,
There's no
corner
overhead.
drug dealer.
So
Yeah. You look at their balance sheet. They got like 180 million in assets, but their liabilities are like 2 million.
wow.
They don't
Yeah.
own anything.
Wow.
They don't fucking have any overhead.
Yeah.
That is awesome. That is fantastic. Also, let's take a look at something important too. They have pretty much that they don't have a ton of shares out there, and their institutional ownership is 50%. I'll take that all day.
I got
They've already
13
kind of
million
attracted the
float.
eye. Oh, nice stable stock too, beta wise. That's a low steady. I'll take that number. I like that. So chart
Good pick.
looks a little, I don't want to say wonky. It looks a little tough. I don't know if I'm getting a good price anytime soon. Let's zoom out a little bit. I don't know when the next time I'm going to hit 20, but I'm at 13 right now. Right place, right time. I've already seen this 50 starting to take off. I didn't see any catalysts in the news for this giant jump starting in June. It could just be.
Yes, you did.
What was that? I might have
That was
missed
the
it.
Lake Mead ordeal.
That's what I was just gonna say. Was that I didn't see anything like publicly they did.
Go back to that news article you had and look at the date.
No way. Are you kidding, man?
I don't know. I'm just
Let's
suggesting.
No, that's July 11th. Let's double
Okay,
back to when it
that's a
took
newer
off.
article, but they have had articles coming out over the past few weeks, specifically with regard to Lake Mead and its low levels.
And that was starting around May. To me, I love that even more. I'm not gonna lie. I absolutely, the more headlines on this type of story, the better for me as an investor. I'm not gonna lie.
Now their high is in April of '91 for $57. Granted, that's a long time away.
Yeah.
So they must have diluted since then.
Yeah, they must have.
But that's weird because they don't have a very. I don't remember them having a big float.
No, I mean with 13 million, I mean
it's not
small, but it's not big either.
No,
it's not Apple or Palantir.
Yeah, that's another good point from Gary. I was looking at the Colorado River too because that snow melt isn't happening as much.
Nope.
Yeah.
And that supplies a shit ton. The Colorado River.
Oh, yeah.
If you go back up and look and see where that all flows through, you're like, oh wow, that's a big issue because it does help. It does supply a lot of Arizona and California with their water.
So I think the important question is then about Vidler is the fact that we're getting more and more drought happening going to significantly impact the price of the stock, because if they don't have a product to sell in terms of water because it's drought, they're not going to increase the profit margin.
Well, remember, I believe that this company is firmly on the paper side of things. So
right.
I don't think it matters where the supply is or what the supply levels are. I think if they find a supply, they're going to exploit it somehow through legal channels. That's what I think this company does.
Right, and I agree with you, but I mean, if the available supply is dwindling, will it impact their long-term stock price? You know,
I would say,
if they've got
I
got less paper to push.
Yeah, I get what you're saying, and I would just say, there's always going to be like some fucking pond or lake or puddle of water that they could exploit. So that's the edge I would play, is like wherever there's a body of water, you could probably expect Vidler to be behind the scenes somewhere.
Well, Avan, I would say that their margin is actually probably going to explode. Their quantity will probably go down, but the value of those contracts is going to explode. I think it's going to be more.
Yeah.
You're going to see this more play into the fundamentals of the company. I think their balance sheet's just going to be a rock star balance sheet for the next couple of years. I don't see that going anywhere. I think people are going to be looking around for what's a good company to invest in, and fundamentals seem to be the first starting point. Cash flow is going to be awesome. They're going to be in a situation where they're attracting consumers, or they're attracting eyeballs anyway, not consumers. I'm into it. I don't know if I'm getting a good price. I don't know if it's going to pop up anytime soon. That's the other problem. What do I do with
according to
this?
their gross margin's already 86%. So that's they're already making a good chunk. They're gonna make even more. They're gonna
Yes.
have a huge margin.
Yes, they are, guys. Just don't sleep on this. I'm telling you, it's gonna be a bad idea. I don't know when this thing is gonna pay off. It could be 2 years from now, but I mean, there's something most likely they're gonna be cooking with some gasoline. Again, price wise, I have no idea when the entry point is. I need to do a way more deeper dive into the analysis, but
Look
we
at their
don't.
last sales. Look at the last sales. Their EPS 3 cents up from -9.
Boom, boom. Let's
That's, I
take a
mean,
look at
their
that.
sales almost 3 million, up from fucking 300K or 230K.
Bingo. Okay, so the
Yeah.
money's starting to pile in. Is
The
that
money's
right?
coming in. They're starting to really make this thing take off. 50% institutional ownership. There's a lot of good signs here with this company, and of course, water. We all need it.
Let's go. Where else do you get better together like this team? Boom. Where else do you guys get this sort of community and conversation? We had awesome picks today. We had that hack ETF. Don't worry about picking a stock in the cybersecurity space, because Avan brings up an excellent point that you are going to get absolutely annihilated on a headline. Just one headline could bring down your entire portfolio. Don't worry about that. Buy into an ETF, in my opinion. I think we both agree that this space is going to grow sooner than later. We have a biomedical pick stock. The thing you got to know about this, man, let's take advantage of the analyst ratings. We had 4 of them in this week, all with exceptional price targets compared to the current price. So there's only one outlier at 23. So take it at 28. Guys, take $10 a share. That's an awesome play. Beef that. Remember, you have about 12 months, but the probability of that highlight coming sooner than later is absolutely great. We have an interesting financial sectors play. We have the beginnings of a golden cross. We have a great sector that seems to be holding up well. We have a company with less than 2 million shares of available in a sector that's growing. And Avan brought up this point this week when we were talking about, he's like, man, I'm curious about avoiding the fintech space because it's so overcrowded. There's so many companies in that space. And my thought is, well, then great. And we both agreed on this. Let's not worry about the young guns. Let's take a company with some experience. So if you're interested in not a traditional bank play, but you want to be in the financial services sector, I think Accredited Capital is an absolute great pick. And then, man, water is going nowhere anytime soon. And we have delivered a stock that seems to be, hopefully, in the right place at the right time, with some absolutely stellar financials, a chart that looks like it's trying to absolutely take off, and overall it's a dwindling supply of a commodity. So let's take that into, let's all thank our lucky horses that we have some water to go drink, man. Yeah, you need water to make bourbon. Gary's absolutely right. And I love bourbon.
I like the way you think.
Yeah, that's true. Oh, man. So absolutely fantastic show. I wanted to thank everybody for being here. I know we're going to be cutting off from the YouTube stream momentarily. The Benzinga Pro guys, we can all stick around and keep chatting. Fine with me. Spencer, I don't want to eat up any more of your time. Thank you all for being here. Come back next week. We'll have more picks.
See ya.
Avan's probably going to have a mohawk, not sure, and it's going to be good, really good time. And if you guys are interested, start planning your trips now for October, so that you can come visit us at a headquarters here in beautiful Detroit, Michigan for Benzinga. Awesome.
I'll be there later
Spencer,
today.
have a good day, man. Take it easy, everybody. End the stream whenever you need. That's not bad, guys. That was a lot of fun. For the pro team, everyone sticking around here. That was a lot of fun. That was a good one.
Yeah.
That has some good flow today.
It had some good flow.
Good.
Okay. So
it worked pretty well.
I want
nice pickup on the Benzinga Pro for the information.
Yeah.
I'll have to go back and remember exactly where it was, but you were like, yeah, you get all your information from Benzinga Pro.
That's what I was doing the whole time. I got my bullshit laptop here, just giving me Benzinga Pro information whenever we look up a stock. Look, if you're still not subscribed to Benzinga Pro, and you want to be part of the market, then I don't know what you're doing,
I
but
don't know what you're doing.
where you're getting your information. But Benzinga Pros giving me
Buying
everything
fucking
I would need.
Bloomberg terminal at $2,000 a month.
For a big waste of money, doesn't make any sense. And you got no one like us to hang out